me because New York is the starting place of my activities in your country. And when I had no place for preaching, one Armenian gentleman offered me a two-storied building in Brooklyn with a nice hall downstairs for only $125 per month. But at the time I was paying only $70 for my apartment, and I could not bear at that time to pay $125. That situation continued for at least 1 year, and then I was bold enough to accept an apartment for $200. In this way the society expanded with so many branches, and now you are paying $1,450 per month, so it is very encouraging. I thank you very much that you have already allotted a nice apartment for me, an entire first floor, so if I had the wings of a dove, I could fly immediately to Brooklyn and enter my apartment. Anyway, in future I wish to go there. For the time being, keep it nicely. By the grace of Krishna, wherever I go, you all my disciples give me a very nice place for residing. And in Calcutta also, Sriman Achyutananda and Sriman Jayapataka, who are going to be sannyasis tomorrow, they have given me a very nice apartment. So I am now 75 years old. I never thought how far I shall be able to travel such a long distance. But as people say I am still younger, then maybe sooner or later I shall come back to New York again. Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhiraye Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 22 and Text 21. Maitreya Uvacha Saha Ugradhanvan Yat Eva Abhabhashe Asit Cha Tushnim Aravindanabham Diya Upakran Smita Shobhita Mukhena Chetaha Lulubhe Devahūtya. Maitreya Uvacha Sa Ugradhanvan Yadeva Bhaba Yavadeva Ivaba Bhashe Sa Ugradhanvan Yad Eva Babhashe Asi Chatushnim Aravindanabham Diyopagrunan Smita Shobhitena Mukhena Cheto Lulubhe Devahūtya. Maitreya Uvacha Sa Ugradhanvan Yad Eva Babhashe Asi Chatushnim Aravindanabham Diyopagrunan Smita Shobhitena Mukhena Cheto Devahūtya. Uvacha Ugradhanvanyate babasve Itasushem arvindana Nana Acham Kuttiga Nannaya Deva Bhashe Asisatushnim Aravindanabham Diyopagrunan Smitashobitena Mukena Cheto Lulube Devahūtya. Maitreya, the great sage Maitreya, Uvacha said, Saha, he, Kardama, Ugradhanvan, O great warrior Vidura, yet this much, eva, only, ababashe, spoke, asit, became, cha, and tushnim, silent, Arvindhanabham, Lord Viṣṇu, whose navel is adorned by a lotus, diya, by thought, upagrunan, ceasing, smitashobitena, beautiful by his smile, mukhena, by his face, chetaha, the mind, lulubhe, was captivated, Devahūtya, of Devahūti. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swamy Prabhupada. Translation. Śrī Maitreya said, O great warrior Vidura, the sage Kardama said this much only and then became silent, thinking of his worshipable Lord Viṣṇu, who has a lotus on his navel. As he silently smiled, his face captured the mind of Devahūti, who began to meditate upon the great sage. Please repeat. Śrī Maitreya said, O great warrior Vidura, the sage Kardama said this much only and then became silent, thinking of his worshipable Lord Viṣṇu, who has a lotus on his navel. As he silently smiled, his face captured the mind of Devahūti, who began to meditate upon the great sage. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. It appears that Kardama Muni was fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness because as soon as he became silent, he at once began to think of Lord Viṣṇu. That is the way of Krishna consciousness. Pure devotees are so absorbed in thought of Krishna that they have no other engagement. Although they may seem to think or act otherwise, they are always thinking of Krishna. The smile of such a Krishna conscious person is so attractive that simply by smiling he wins so many admirers, disciples and followers. The Sanstha Bhaktivedanta Purporto Majnanatimmirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Om Viṣṇu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, we are on the eve of Narasimha Jayanti celebrations. So, today and tomorrow we have grand celebrations here. And Prabhupada has started Julan of Lakshmi, Sri Lakshmi Narasimha. Also we have the opportunity to have darshan of Lord marrying Chanchulashmi. And since it's a forest, you can see all the birds, animals. It's a Hobilam forest. And but the question is, how can banana tree have capsicum? So, spiritual world, anything is possible. That is the answer. The tree can give anything. So devotees are all in smiles as soon as they had this darshan. So this is Krishna conscious life, means all smiles. Supposed to be all smiles. Joyfully performed. This is Krishna consciousness. If the consciousness is Krishnaist, if the background consciousness is always about Krishna, then he sees everything in a Krishna conscious perspective. That background consciousness is also known as Chetaha. Cheto lulube devahūtyan cheta, chittam. So this chittam, it acts as the background consciousness for whatever consciously we do. We may be thinking, we may be walking, we may do many activities. Behind all those activities, there is certain consciousness. Continuously there is a background. For an ordinary living entity, for a conditioned soul, this continuous background is sense enjoyment. He will look at everything, he will think about everything with this intention that, can this be for my enjoyment? Can this be for my control? Can this be for my exploitation? This will be the continuous background consciousness of a conditioned soul. So, as long as the consciousness is about exploiting this world for own enjoyment, then there is no question of joyfulness. There is no question of the real smile. Sometimes they smile, but everybody knows that this smile is also for exploitation, for his own exploitation. So people can see through it. Only devotees who are selflessly serving Krishna and society, they can have genuine smile. They can have innocent smile. But otherwise, as long as the consciousness is that I am the enjoyer and controller, then he will not be able to really be happy. So Shastra says this consciousness has to be purified. Currently it is in a certain direction, but it has to be purified. Nirmala, it has to be cleansed. Some cleaning has to happen. And what is that cleansing? That consciousness should come to a situation wherein continuously he is thinking, can this be for Krishna? Can this be for Krishna? Can that be for Krishna? This is the change of consciousness. He also thinks, he also sees, he also does so many activities, but a pure devotee, his continuous calculation is, can this be utilized for Krishna's service? Can this be utilized for Krishna's happiness and enjoyment? A devotee constantly thinking how to give happiness to the Lord. This is devotee. They are happy seeing the Lord, enjoying. Like for example, as soon as we saw today this diorama, all the devotees are happy, jubilant. They are dancing. We want to see the Lord happy and enjoying. So this is called pure devotional service. Attitude should be like that. So the Cheta can completely cleanse itself and then come to the scenario of always looking at Krishna's purpose. Then that devotee, he becomes very joyful. After all, he has nothing to worry about himself. He has nothing to worry about his safety, his enjoyment, his advancement, nothing. He is simply thinking about how should I satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead under the direction of his pure devotee Prabhupada. He knows if I can follow Prabhupada's orders, and God will be satisfied. Krishna will be satisfied, Narasimha will be satisfied. He knows that. So happily, his thinking is always, how can I implement Guru's orders, Guru's instructions? That's all. If the devotee is absorbed like that, what can I offer to Krishna next? How can I serve Krishna next? Is always thinking about Krishna. Thinking about Krishna's service means thinking about Krishna. Thinking about Krishna doesn't mean only the form, thinking about the form, but it is also thinking about his service. Krishna Nama, Krishna service, Krishna's pastimes. Like that, a devotee continuously he thinks about the Lord. That is the level to which we have to reach. That is the target of every human being. The goal of life should be that we should mold our life in such a way that constantly we can think of Krishna. Somebody may be outside or inside or whatever, his life should be so molded that always he is thinking about Krishna. If he has to do some talking, he talks in relation to Krishna, Krishna's service. If he has nothing to talk, then he chants Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then let us say he is tired, then he eats. Honors Prasad, Krishna Prasad. Continuously he is busy in something connected to Krishna. So this is an important aspect. Like here, Kardama Muni, as soon as he completed his talking, immediately in his mind is thinking about Aravindanabha, the Supreme Lord whose navel has a lotus, is like a lotus, and from his navel a lotus sprouts up and becomes the universe. So, Aravindana Asischa Tushnim Aravindanabhe. he fell silent. Tushnim means he became silent immediately. He spoke some few words, extremely meaningful, connected to Krishna. He says in the last verse that Viṣṇu is my supreme authority. And then immediately he stops talking and he fell silent, and then immediately he started thinking about Aravindanabham. So he is a pure devotee, constantly thinking about Krishna. This is the mood of a devotee. He doesn't want to waste any moment. So devotee silence is not the silence of ordinary people. Outside, people, Jai Radha Govinda ki Jai. This silence is a multi-billion industry in the outside world. What is the philosophy? You remain silent. And for that people pay huge amounts and then go and learn how to be silent. And if they can learn silence for 1 week, they'll pay some 15,000, 20,000, 25,000 just to learn silence. This is the philosophy. And then they say ultimately the goal is to become silent. This is the Tushnim means silent. This is their philosophy. Our philosophy is nobody can be silent. Nobody can make it silent like that. A living entity is full of activities, always active. The soul, the spirit soul is always active. So, always active means either it is thinking, either it is doing some activity. There are so many things going on. Exchanging relationships with others, performing his duties, there is eating, there is enjoyment, there are so many activities are there. To make all these things zero and become silent, that is not a philosophy. It is against the nature of each one of us. None of us want to be silent like that. Silent is meant for, sometimes you see some children, they do a lot of noise and, they're all creating a lot of disturbance, moving around, running around, playing around. Some serious discussion is going on among the family members. The child doesn't know, simply running here, there. And the parents will say, sit silently. Don't make sound. Sit. This silence is meant for such people. So many hard work, so much of hard work, so much of disturbing work they do that, sometimes if you tell them, sit down, be silent, don't do anything. Very nice philosophy. You think that. Why he is feeling little better? Because he stopped doing all the disturbing activities for the time being. But that's not the philosophy. He should know what is the proper activity. Okay, I should not do disturbing activity, but what is the proper activity, one should understand. Then he can be happy. If somebody is into doing proper activity, then he is happy. So that proper activity is the Krishna conscious activity. The Cheta has to be transformed, purified, of always thinking about benefit of the Supreme Lord, for the benefit of Supreme Lord, for sacrificing to Krishna, Viṣṇu, Narasimha. This is the thinking. And he does any activity with that intention under the direction of Prabhupada, then that is called positive activity. If you want to be happy and positive in life, then your activity should satisfy the Supreme Authority, Lord Viṣṇu, Narasimha, Aravindanabha. This is the goal. Anything that doesn't satisfy the Lord, then that becomes binding, it becomes suffering. Yajnadhat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. It becomes a bandhana for the jiva. But if you can do something which pleases Guru, which pleases Krishna, our life is successful. So, smile is part of our life. The smiling. We want Guru to be smiling always at us. Prabhupada to be smiling always at us. If spiritual master is happy, then we know Krishna is also happy. So this is Vaishnava Siddhanta. It's a personal philosophy. One has to satisfy the person. And then Prabhupada says, and we should not think, okay, me and Guru and Krishna, that's all, nothing in between. No, one has to deal with the Vaishnavas. One should satisfy the Vaishnavas. Particularly, one should be satisfying the Vaishnavas who have dedicated their lives for propagating this mission. One should satisfy. So it is sadhus, the Vaishnavas, then Guru and Krishna. These are all part of our spiritual life. So if we want to advance in Krishna consciousness, this philosophy of personalism has to be understood. This particular person has to be satisfied, that's all. He is my immediate authority, he is my authority, he has to be pleased with whatever activity I am doing. This is very important. It is not a question of looking at the external features and deciding whether I want to satisfy or not. No. Our Vaishnava authorities, they have been given that service, so one has to abide by their orders and ensure that they are satisfied. This simple thinking, if it is missing, that I should satisfy the immediate authority, then we have not understood the personal philosophy. Me and Guru, me and Krishna, that's all. Who is this in between? But the personal authorities, the Vaishnava authorities, it's not that our relation is only that they have to be satisfied, yes, but also we should disclose our challenges also. It's not that they are meant only to take all the good results. Okay, ye de do, wo de do. Yes, that is for Krishna. But it is not that it is only stopping there. The relationship continues. And one has to also express his personal challenges, or service challenges, philosophical challenges, like that. This is how Prabhupada has created a system. Sometimes we have confusion. Prabhupada is physically not present. How do I know that he is smiling at me? How do I know that my service is pleasing to him? Because if he is personally there, then let us say he smiles, then it's all clear. We know that we have satisfied the spiritual master. But then now he is not there. So Prabhupada says, if you follow his instructions under the direction of the authorities, then he is pleased. One has to, he perceives the pleasure of Guru and Krishna as soon as he does something nicely. So this is nice, this is clear. This process has pratyakshavaghamam dharmyam susukham kartum abhyayam. He perceives pratyaksha avagamam. Directly he perceives that yes, this is pleasing to Guru and Guru, Gauranga and Krishna. So immediately susukham, he takes pleasure in that. As soon as he visualizes that my spiritual master will be happy with this, he becomes happy. Like once Prabhupada visited one temple, and in the airport the devotees organized a media conference, and Prabhupada addressed the media. Media persons are asking, how is our movement growing, and many other questions. And then the next day Prabhupada comes to the temple hall. Then the devotees show one of the newspaper, and it has covered the media reports, headlines. It has covered the headlines. It says, Hare Krishna movement takes over the world. And Prabhupada is, smiling at this headline. So, by seeing that happiness on Prabhupada's face, all the devotees in the room, they also became jubilant and happy. This is Vaishnava Siddhanta. A devotee takes pleasure in the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. This is our pleasure. When should a devotee take pleasure? When he sees that the spiritual master, Guru, Gauranga and Krishna, they are pleased. By looking at their smile, we should become happy. This is our philosophy. We want to keep our spiritual master always happy. So this was the driving force for devotees. In Krishna consciousness, what is our motivation? What is our driving force? We want to see that, a pure devotee, Prabhupada, is pleased. Whether he is pleased or not with my activity, this is the calculation. He is always calculating in terms of his relationship. Rasa calculation, not intellectual calculation, logical derivations and all that. He is thinking, my spiritual master should be happy. Will this activity make him happy? This is the calculation he has. This is rasa. Our relationship, through the relationship he analyzes everything. Will this make my spiritual master happy? Yes, if I decorate this particular thing on Krishna, he will look so nice. This is the calculation. How we can keep Guru and Krishna comfortable and happy. This is spiritual life. So, only such devotees, they will also become happy. If we are not happy, that means somewhere we are distracted by Maya. Maya means there is a calculation that something is for my sense gratification, something is for my personal power, personal attention, something is, if the mind is diverted like that, then immediately it pierces our happy life. So devotees, they are very simple-hearted. As they go on thinking about Krishna, Guru and Krishna, their happiness, then they become very soft-hearted, like flower. But as soon as they start diverting their attention to other things, then they become stone-hearted. They cannot even smile. They cannot even, execute their services with a light heart. So these are the aspects of this chitta. So one should be very careful how in every circumstance I can remain Krishna conscious. This is the goal. This is the goal. And then Prabhupada says, actually in the last line, he is referring to a pure devotee. Actually he is referring to himself. He is saying the smile of such a Krishna conscious person is so attractive that simply by smiling he wins so many admirers, disciples and followers. We see in Prabhupada's life, simply by his smile he has won thousands and thousands of admirers and followers. It is not about material attractiveness. It is a different kind of an attractiveness, and that comes by the purity of heart. So Prabhupada has won all these admirers, disciples and followers by his purity. Purity makes someone attractive. So that's why Prabhupada is saying here. So this is the way of Krishna consciousness, continuously thinking about Krishna, Krishna's service and Krishna's holy name, or Krishna's philosophy, Krishna's tattva, so many things Prabhupada asks. Always how we can be in touch with the Supreme Lord, this is the Krishna conscious process. Always. 24 hours Prabhupada says we should be in touch. As soon as we divert our attention, we will not be. Sometimes if we properly don't listen to Prabhupada's words, then also we will not be able to happily live. We will not be able to implement if we don't properly listen. And why we don't properly listen? Because we are diverted by many worldly affairs. So if we go on spending time and energy in these worldly affairs, the worldly dramas that goes on, then we cannot be happy. Again, it pierces the heart. Cheta ether anavid. Then this is Cheta is pierced continuously by Maya. And what is that piercing? Diverting our attention to the worldly affairs, the worldly politics, political analysis, prediction of the results, who will win, who will not win, which constituency is won by whom, and this kind of a analysis, worry, and putting our emotions into it, and then worried about the whole thing, you are already drawn into the drama of Maya. This is, you should know, this entire world is a stage, a drama stage of Maya, illusion. And on that, so many things will be going on. A devotee should not put his emotions there. He should not give his heart there. As soon as he gives the heart, he is finished. So this is the situation. One has to be very careful. These waves will come. Now this is a political wave. After that there will be IPL wave. After that there will be some other wave, some other fashion. Goes on, this world goes on. People without knowing what is the purpose of life, they will be taken away by these waves of all this Maya. And by the time comes up, the last moment comes up. What will he do? At that time, he will only remember the biggest drama in which he participated. That could be political drama or in whatever, where he gave his heart. That comes to his mind. And then whatever comes to his mind, that will become the next life. His next life will be decided at the last moment. So we should be careful not to be driven away by these waves of Maya. One should be very careful not to fall for this dragging force of the illusion. He should be absorbed in Bhagavatam and try to properly listen and not get restless in the mind and focus on many other subject matters. It is not easy to focus, but if you can do so, then you will be blessed with happiness and ability to do more and more services. We stop here. Any questions? Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.